Folks, over the last year or so, we've done plenty of seller financing questions or seller financing topics. You can search them on my 11,000 videos and find them. I don't think we've ever done it from the selling side. Like, hey, I own a property, I own a home, I own an apartment, duplex. When should I consider seller financing? I think that's a pretty interesting discussion. Stephen, before we jump into this, please give the marketing spiel so we don't get in trouble.
Although I work very happily for Velocity Mortgage Capital, all the ideas and topics discussed on this channel, that of my own. So let's get it going.
So we're gonna bat this one around a little bit and really talk about when should a seller think about offering seller financing. What are you thinking?
Wait, what was that again?
When should a seller think about offering seller finance? Because we've done lots of discussions about buyers, but when should a seller offer it, you think?
Yes, thank you again. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. I mean, typically in the case of a seller, I mean, really, there's no better time than in the beginning, just to kind of open up as many opportunities or options for potential buyers. Because again, where you might be able to offer less down to the right candidate, that's going to obviously open up the probability of having more potential buyers. Because again, either less down or their circumstances only allows for my type of financing, but they're still very interested. Then of course, so when now is good times any, but
Yeah.
I guess the right kind of perspective would be how valuable, and I guess just as an additional option would be, again, it couldn't hurt. So from the standpoint of where if you have enough equity, and obviously in this situation, either from the start or like I said, good times any, it's been sitting a while. Well, hey, now you can increase the potential of having more buyers because with our CLTV allowance, if you got
Mhm.
enough equity and the buyer can only put down 10%, but they max out and qualify for me up to 75 or 70, and you can make up the difference, then we got action. And if the numbers make sense, and a lot of times we can kind of pull a lever here, maybe interest only, maybe buy it on the rate or a combination of the two. It usually plays out to where, that's a viable deal, just so long as the seller can kind of live with not getting all their money right away, during after the sale of the property. Outside of that, it's usually pretty win-win because seller gets, the sale now, gets a lower capital gains hit typically, and then the buyer gets usually, a property that should cash flow from day one when you crunch all the numbers to make sense. So just given the terms, but outside of that, I think that's really where the value comes in, especially in this market now, given where rate environment or just circumstances, whatever, it's tough to try to find financing a lot of times.
Yeah.
So sellers can't sell because either somebody doesn't have the wherewithal to come in all cash or just due to the, area, whatnot. So yeah.
Yeah, when I thought about this topic, which I think is a great one, it's rare that I can find a topic we haven't hit in 11,000
Yeah.
plus videos. So if I was selling a property today, I had it on the market, it's
Mm-hmm.
aged out.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, it's 30 days, whatever it is, and all I'm getting is disrespectful offers,
Right.
right? I would either A, take it off the market, or
Right.
B, I would go to my agent and I would simply say, first line in the
Hey.
description,
Uh-huh.
some seller financing available.
Yeah.
That is
Exactly.
immediately going to turn it around because in today's market, when something gets older than 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
certainly 30 days, all you're
Mm-hmm.
going to get is just stupid low offers.
Right.
And
So make the
yeah,
bleeding stop, I mean, at
change it
least with
up.
this product. Yeah. And again, I think if you crunch the numbers, if you have sit down, have a more meaningful conversation to where if you could stand that second position, what makes sense to you to
Mhm.
where, okay, I'm going to get my price. He's going to get his terms, like you said in the past, and everybody wins. And so it's just looking at things from a different angle, just like this whole 90% CLTV with the 50-40-10. How does it apply now to the seller versus the buyer? So, yeah, I mean, there's always, that old saying, a different way to skin a cat. Ew, I don't know if I want to go there, but yeah. Sorry, it wasn't my
Different
saying.
ways to create a deal. Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
your saying.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
the other things to think about is a seller, right? Because again, this will
Mhm,
probably apply to sellers, my age and older. Um,
mhm,
it may be a shock to people, but cash can be a problem, right? You're going to sell this building or this house or whatever. You're going to get a big check. Maybe you don't need all of that.
mhm,
Maybe you would rather have some income. Maybe you want to delay taxes. There's other ways you can do that. So,
mhm,
to me, in this market that we're in today, that's clearly slowing down, days on market are expanding. I think a
mhm,
seller who is in the right equity position
mhm.
will simply get more for his or her property offering seller financing. Now, if they can offer seller financing as a first, they'll get a
Mm-hmm.
lot more money.
Oh,
But
agreed.
if they can offer it as a second, which the CLTV loan is perfect for, they will get
Right,
more money.
right.
Um, yeah. So remind folks, how does the 90% work?
So again, it's just the overall 90% combined loan to value. So depending upon the property type, we're gonna be maxed as far as loan to value anywhere from 70 to 75% of their overall purchase price. So to make up the difference there is if we allow to 90%, that would mean that if the seller had enough equity, if they can carry anywhere from a 15 to 20% second in this example, that would allow the buyer to only have to come in to make the difference of the 10%. So that's where the 90% CLTV comes into play. Any combination of my first, along with the seller has enough equity and is willing to carry, up to a total combined loan to value of 90%, then buyer just comes in with 10. So it really has helped in so many different situations. I mean, I can name easily off of one hand, and specifically even, one of the three amigos that we utilize that tool that really
Yeah.
helped out the seller. And so maybe
Yeah.
even from that standpoint of like really sellers in distress, you know, fixed income, plenty of equity, I don't know, credit
Yeah.
challenges. This is
Yeah.
perfect. This is really, I mean, it really worked out for them. And the rents that he was able to rent them back at, they were still like, and then the passive income in the second, it was just like,
It was a
it fed
win-win.
itself.
Yeah.
It was self, it was, yeah, I think, yeah, the Lumberjack doing some good work out there, man. Doing some
Yeah, it
good work
is.
for sure. Anyway, but yeah, I think it just depends on the overall scenario with this tool. It's kind of almost like the Swiss Army knife of just loan kind of product because you could just
Yeah.
pull out different things depending upon what
Yeah.
your need or usage is.
If you are a owner or seller today, or better yet, if you're a real estate agent and one of your listings is aging out and you're worried about losing the listing,
Mm-hmm.
I would strongly recommend reaching out to Stephen Dow just to understand so that you, as the agent, right, you're day 85 of a 90-day listing and you're afraid you're going to
Mm-hmm.
lose it and all that marketing spend that you've done. I would reach out to Stephen to say, hey, tell me more about this program. How could they use it? How could I position it? Steve, if somebody wanted to reach out and talk more about this 90% CLTV as an agent or an owner, as a seller, how
Mm-hmm.
should they do that?
Email is always going to be best. Again, SDAO@velocitymortgage.com. In the subject line, ORAAT. Body the email, kind of brief description, what you're looking for. Address would be fantastic, at least maybe the city and state to make sure that I lend there. Your mid FICO score, and the best phone number to reach you in typically 24, 40 hours. I'll be in touch.
Awesome, buddy. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here every week.
I appreciate you, man.